Good morning, everybody. So, friendly reminder from Albus and me, and some of my family that are hanging out here on this beautiful lake in Michigan. Friendly reminder that to live means you will die. 100% of you listening to this will die someday. You're all going to die. And that helps you put life in perspective and try to make sense of risk and life and benefit and all those things. So, that's just a friendly reminder. But what I want to talk about today is exclusion, discrimination, prejudice, and how that affects your own and other people's mental health. So if you are discriminating against people who are jabbed or unjabbed, you're basically categorizing people into a system that doesn't make logical sense, because the new variants are likely to cause the sea illness. So whether you got the jab or not, you can still get the sea illness and spread the sea illness. There was no long-term data on that, and the data we do have from Israel and now from India shows that you actually might be more likely by like 10 times, ooh, sweet blue jay, you might be more likely to die from the new strains of the sea illness. And in Israel, you were 8 times more likely to catch the new strain of the sea illness than other people were more likely to catch the old strains. So the data we have doesn't look good for the jab people. So it does not make logical sense that you would exclude or include people who had the jab or not the jab. So all these people that are testing, like the Chicago Cubs or concerts who are like, you're only allowed in if you've had the jab, doesn't make any sort of logical sense at all. And for your mental health, you're basically saying some people can't take the jab for medical reasons. They're allergic to the ingredients, or most of the people who you're labeling as like anti-jab, those people have actually had injury from other jabs. So it's kind of like telling someone like, you've been raped and I'm not going to invite you because now you're anti-sex. And it's like, most people aren't anti-jab if they've had a jab injury. They're just like, I don't want to put myself at that risk again. So if you're like, that person has had sexual assault history, and now they don't want to walk home alone at night by themselves, or they don't want to do drugs at a big party because someone might take advantage of them. They're just being cautious with their bodies. And most people are not anti-jab. There's just thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands now of people, probably millions of people, who have been injured from pharmaceuticals and the pharmaceutical injections. So it doesn't make sense to limit those people from your lives. And because there's no long-term data, and there never will be because the trials were canceled, on what it does to these people. And when you actually look at the data we do have from people who are pregnant, it looks like a large chunk of them, basically 14 to 30% of them, either had abnormal births, or miscarriages, or preemies, or kids who had health issues, and that's not a great percentage. It's not drastically higher than a normal percentage of what we see, but it's higher, which means there is a higher risk. Most likely, from the little data we have, 3,400 people, that the jab is not as safe for pregnant women. So that's not great, because most of the people who are cheering like, oh, it's safe, they're not actually reading the data and interpreting it. So you have to be careful with that. So for younger people who have not had kids, or especially for pregnant people or people trying to conceive, might not be the safest bet.
Didn't actually read the study, and you only read the CNBC article. Because if you actually read the study, I don't think there'd be any need for the Soldier Boy celebration. There were 3,958 women enrolled in the pregnancy study. As of now, 827 of those women have completed their pregnancy. 115 of those 827 women lost the baby. That means 14% of women lost a child. And another 13% of them were small babies or preemies. So that means 25 to 30% either had an abnormal birth or lost a child. And that's not even counting the 46 cases of spontaneous abortion.
So there's that. But the mental health, what most people need: human contact, physical touch. They need to be with other people. And excluding people is really, hey, other dog, not good for your mental health or their mental health. And it's not okay to discriminate for medical reasons for somebody. Like, you wouldn't discriminate against somebody who had seizures, or you wouldn't discriminate against someone who had like a tumor, I mean, they're not putting you at more risk. That's the main thing. Like, the people who did not have the jab are not really putting you at more risk, especially if you're more likely, if you had the jab, to catch the new variants. Then you're putting other people at more risk by having like collective get-togethers. So, here are the dogs. So we just redid the shore, so there's no grass up here, but we built this yesterday, putting the dock, putting the boat, getting things ready. But anyways, yeah, it doesn't make sense what's happening at all, or why people are doing this. But it causes a lot of depression, feeling of isolation, anxiety, exclusion. I'm seeing children and adults who are feeling pressured to get the jab by friends and family, extreme pressure. So even just asking people is not okay, and excluding people from your gatherings is not okay, because the people who are generally cautious with this jab are actually doing more research, probably more educated than the people who are getting the jab. Like, when you look beyond the mainstream media, when you actually read the trial data and know how to interpret it, when you actually look up the ingredients and just Google like PEG carcinogenic, or look up ethylene oxide that's likely in the PG, and people are peeing out HEMA, which is a breakdown of ethylene oxide. It's like, good news is people are peeing out HEMA. The bad news is people are peeing out HEMA. So you really have to be very careful with what's going on and with your body, because you can't always trust the FDA and the CDC to have your back. Lots of products, I think like 14% or more products, get pulled off in the first couple of years of being released. Most medical pharmaceuticals have inactive ingredients that are not healthy for us. So it's just good to keep perspective in mind. And remember that not everything that's approved or EUA authorized is safe fully. And really, life is not safe. Like, I motorcycle all the time, and that's 2,000, 3,000 times more dangerous than the sea illness, but doesn't mean you stop doing it. So either way, excluding and including people is not great, especially when you're not doing it for a logical health reason. So please just consider that, that could be a problem. And just think about what you're doing and the effect it has on other people, and whether it's actually logical or not. So yeah, I think whether you agree with someone or not, based on their political views or their health views or the status of their body, it's just not really okay to exclude these people or include these people. Like, I'm not going to exclude people that have had the jab from my practice. I'm still treating those people. And yeah, like, I don't think we need to be scared of people based on whether or not they've had the jab, because it just doesn't make logical sense to do so. So I hope that makes sense. I hope some of you get some value from this. But remember to love everybody. Many people have had the jab and regret it because of their long-term side effects that they're having. Many people are really happy that they got the jab. Many people are regretting not getting the jab, and many people are really happy that they're not getting the jab. So whatever someone's choice and however they view their decision, just know that all we need is more love, acceptance, appreciation, understanding, listening, curiosity about people's decisions. And if you're going to try to change someone's decision, it's good to have an open conversation in person, from a place where you seek first to understand with curiosity and then be understood. And offer questions, offer data and support, but for the most part, people make emotional decisions and justify them later with logic, not logical decisions. And remember, logic is fast, science is slow. Sweet. Ryan, you catch any fish?
No fish today.
Shoot. Not even the little guys?
No.
Dang. All right.
Mine.
Oh, careful. I think he's nicely begging.